What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. We are back with another episode of Before the First Cast with your host, Calvin Herndon. If I didn't get to wish you a happy Thanksgiving, happy holidays. Um, Thanksgiving, we had to take a break last week due to Thanksgiving and some traveling, but we're back and we're ready to get it rolling. As you know, when this comes out, Thanksgiving's been here and now it's gone. So today we're going to talk a little bit about a little early winter fishing. So as you know, around our area here in Virginia, the Mid-Atlantic area, it's getting a little bit chilly. It's dropping into the teens at night right now, and it's just going to get getting colder and colder. So instead of talking about that fall fishing, we're going to go jump into a little early winter fishing today. Today I just want to go over a few of my go-to baits this early winter period where that water's starting to drop into the mid 50s, lower 40s. You can't beat the baits that I'm about to explain. I have three that I'm going to go over that I have go-tos for, and I have some honorable mentions as well that you may or may not get to see if you watch this through YouTube. But so let's go ahead and jump in and get started. So what is happening during this time of year, this early winter period? So we're just coming out of fall. Your water temperature, you're really getting those cold nights, and where you have to put the bibs on and the full jacket to make that morning run. So what is that happening to the lake? So the lake's water temperature is dropping every day because of the cold, shortness of days, the cold nights. Um, so eventually, when it gets super cold, you're gonna have what they call a shad kill off. So as we work through, I'm gonna go through kind of the water column again about what I would be fishing and what I'll be looking for. So to kick that off, I'm gonna start off with a very tight wobbling crankbait. Um, this time of the year, shad are super lethargic because of the cold water. Um, you want to mimic that bait fish, whatever it is. In our case here in the Mid Atlantic in Virginia, we have a lot of shad in our water. And shad do not like to move around when the water's cold. And what this crankbait does is you're not necessarily burning it. You're more of kind of slow rolling it, ticking off of things. It has such a tight wobble, and you can tell a tight wobbling crankbait not only by the bill, because the bill can be shaped a little differently, but also the sides of the crankbait. They will be more a flat sided crankbait. A little there's flat sides to it. What that does is it causes it to really wiggle in the water, um, and cause vibration and get those fish actively feeding. That is where I would fish this. I would fish this around your rocks. I would try to ping it off into dock pilings. You don't want floaters. You just want those really the dock pilings. Any boat ramps that most people overlook boat ramps like man-made boat ramps or just boat ramps in general. They have rock on them. They're gonna heat up a lot more quicker than normal rock. So fish this rocks, docks, anywhere you think. And if you see shad in the area, you better throw this puppy. I have two favorites. This one is the Strike King flat-sided crank flat-sided crankbait. The other one I don't have with me, but it would be a Berkeley Frittside 7. They both work super well in colder water. Um, Next one is pretty much a go-to, and everybody knows about it. It's not a secret. Um, I'm gonna go with the old tried and true jerkbait. I keep it simple this time of year with colors. I go very shad patterning, you know, baits this time of year. It does some weird things where it does matter if it's sunny or cloudy. Cloudy, I'm using kind of this color. It's like a pro blue color. Um, Sunny, I'll go to something like this. I can't exactly remember this color, but it works in sunny time for some sunny days, some weird, weird way. Not sure. This time of year, your cadence is going to be extremely different than it would be in like the springtime where you just, or in the fall where you're ripping and not really pausing it. This one, you're going to really just, you're going to get it down to a step. You're going to rip it a couple times and let it sit. What that's going to do is it's going to look like a dying bait fish or dying shad because it's going to be super lethargic and it's just not doing much. And that's what the bass feed on. And they go nuts when you do that twitch like it's coming back alive. I guess it just freaks them out. Um, my two go tos on this one, honestly, I will go with the Megabass 110 or Vision 110. I either like you want a kind of deeper one in the wintertime, so I'll go +1 or +2. This is actually a 110 +1 in Pro Blue. Or I also like Strike King came out with a 300 size, which the action on these are incredible. Um, I absolutely love how these things sit in the water and how they work. Um, I will use those two. Where will I be fishing these? So jerkbaits can be fished in a variety of places. You could be fishing them in the middle of pockets, on points. I would definitely recommend looking for more of your where's your pile of bait fish? Where's the bait fish activity? Definitely um, look for your bait fish when you're fishing a jerk bait. It's gonna help you out because you know fish are gonna be in the area. Also, this time of year, it's huge. Look for seagulls. This time of the year, out of any time of the year, seagulls are everywhere because you're having that shad die off. You're gonna have birds. The birds are gonna tell you where the bait is. They're gonna be just hovering around. They're gonna tell you where the bait's gonna be, where the fish are gonna be. Keep an eye out for those not so subtle things like birds. Birds diving. That means there's bait dying or there's bait flickering on top. You will smoke them on a jerk bait. You will. It's a proven fact in the wintertime that jerk baits work. So as we transition from, and another good jerk bait that I like too is the Berkeley Stunner. I haven't really tried their deeper version. Um, so I guess those three would be my go-tos this time of year. Um, my third one and the one I'm most confident with, and it has to do with that you know, lower area of the water column or the bottom, we like to say. I have to go with a jig. Not only are bass feeding on shad, they are also feeding on crawfish. Um, no better thing to represent a crawfish than a jig. This kind of time of year, it really varies on what kind of jig I have. My confidence color is a green pumpkin jig. Um, I've also used green pumpkin orange or like Bama crawl this time of year. That works just as good, not even maybe even better. It depends on what color your crawfish in your area get this time of year. I know here, further down the season, we get into the wintertime, they can get like a purplish color. So your PB and J colors work very well in the winter. That's more later in the winter. Right now, green pumpkin and pretty much green pumpkin orange is really working. It's something about that orange. It could be just kind of the reaction to the bait as it's falling, that orange catches them off guard. Also, weight size has something very important to do when you're fishing a jig in the wintertime. I like to go heavier. I will go a half ounce jig in the wintertime. Um, I just feel like it gets bit more often. It has to do with the fall rate. That you want to get down quicker in the wintertime. And sometimes it may vary. You could go out there and throw a 3/8, and that's what they want. You just have to throw what they want. This time of year, it's really hard to figure out what exactly the fish want to eat that day, but a jig's a given for me. Um, Sticking with the bottom content of, oh, where do you want to throw a jig? I'm skipping a jig under docks on those boat ramps, bringing it through brush. You want to slow roll it through brush, so have a good weed guard on it. You know, bass love to hide and cover in the winter, so if you find some brush or you find some laydowns, definitely throw a jig into them. Because bass will hide out there in it. Um, like I said, on boat ramps, boat docks, any piece of cover you can find, just throw the jig in there. You're gonna get walloped either way. Um, some honorable mentions for me. If I'm gonna go really finessey, which I don't have one out currently, but I'll pull out a Ned rig. There's something about a Ned rig in the wintertime where there's not a lot of action. There's not really a rhyme or reason for why it works so well. I think it's just a smaller profile. It's something that's crawling along the bottom that may mimic a crawfish of some sort. Most of all, I'm gonna probably be fishing that around rocks with a light head. I'm going probably 3/16 at the most, and just dragging that real slow um, around, you know, the bottom of the rocks or in the rocks, just where crawfish will burrow for the wintertime, because that's what crawfish do is they burrow in the wintertime um, to to have safety. And I usually like, I don't think I have any with me right now, but I will do some of the um, oh man, Z-Man makes a crawl type of um, Ned rig bait that I really like to use. I can't the doesn't come right off my brain at the moment. Um, but I usually like that. And the big one that is the honorable mention for me, but for me fishing out of the back of the boat, it really doesn't. I don't really have a lot of success on it. Just due to everybody in the front of the boat throwing it. You guys probably know where I'm going with this. Honorable mention for me would be the Alabama rig. Now, I don't know what your state regulation is, but here in Virginia, I believe we can throw the 5 wire or the 5 hook rig, a rig, without any penalty. Please, if anybody knows the rules has changed, comment, leave a comment. I know some states can only have a three arm rig. Either way, there's so many A rigs that are made out right now. You have some with blades, you have some that are non-bladed, you have a micro, you have a mini, you have a full size. I don't like throwing them, like I said, just because I'm in the back of the boat, and if I get hung up, it's just a whole mess. Um, but they do get bit this time of year. It's about having what looks to be a big ball shed coming through, and fish just cannot deny that. They will go and just destroy the A rig. I've seen a 9 or almost a 9 pounder caught on an A rig during this time of year. Um, they just love it. I don't understand it. They come and kill it, and they just love it. So now that we talked about the baits, let's talk a little bit about what's going on in the wintertime. The wintertime is fish are on the move. Believe it or not, they are coming out of those creeks. They're making stops on secondary points. They're heading out to their home for the winter, and that's probably going to be some deep water with some structure on it. So that migration may be really quick or it may be really slow. Um, I'm and I like winter fishing, and it's a love hate relationship with me. Do I like going out there in freezing cold weather and you know being miserable? No. But can you catch the biggest fish in the lake during the wintertime? Yes. If you can locate and figure out what the bass are doing, where the bass are hanging out, what depth range you're in, you can catch a pretty good bag in the wintertime because you don't have a lot of boat traffic on the water. This is a really good time to start fishing because a lot of guys are still hunting, or they put their boats up for the winter. They're gonna wait until the spring comes. Um, but you can catch probably your PB in the wintertime if you really spend time and figure out where these fish are going to stay for the winter. Um, in my opinion, I believe that sweet spots from like 15 to 30 feet, um, or deeper, because the third rut climb pretty much maxes out at 30 feet for bass, or where it's more stable for bass. Um, and I've found in the wintertime that's where they like to stay. Now, you do have those residential fish that will stay in the backs of pockets and just kind of hang out and stay there the entire winter. But majority of your fish are going to be out deep, just kind of being lethargic. They will come up during the day to feed. It's a very, very small window, um, but you still can catch them shallow in the wintertime. But majority of your fish will come deep. Majority of your quality fish will come deep. Um, and lastly, I want to talk a little kind of common sense, but you know things happen, and you know common sense really isn't taken into place. Wear your life jacket in the winter. I've heard multiple instances where people have drowned in the wintertime or got hypothermia and died because they either weren't wearing the life vest and unfortunately had an accident or what have you, and they ended up dying because of not wearing a life jacket. I just encourage always wear your life jacket. Don't get in a boat thinking, "Oh, I'll be okay." I don't need a life jacket. We're not going that fast. Not much happens on the water. Believe it or not, more things happen on the water than you think. So just be safe out there. Wear your life jackets. Obey all the laws, your state laws. Um, because the wintertime, even though there's not a lot of people on the lake, there's things that still can go wrong. Um, most importantly, the hypothermia thing for the water, um, that can kill you in an instant. Just be safe. I just encourage safety. Follow all your rules and regulations in your state from your Department of Wildlife and Game. Um, Lastly, go out there and catch some biggins in the winter. I hope these baits help you really hone in what you want to throw the next trip you go out. I know I had success a couple weeks ago throwing some of these, mainly the jig. We caught a lot of fish on the jig, no big ones, unfortunately, but definitely for the Mid Atlantic region, Smith Mountain Lake, you're getting into that wintertime fishing. Jerk baits are going to start getting good here. Your flat sided crankbaits are going to get good. Your jig's already good. I can't tell you how many people I've talked to that they are catching them on the jig. Um, just mega bags, 20-pound bags on jigs. Um, but like I said, just go out there, try some of this. I'm no expert at this by any means. I'm just a novice here and amateur, and just want to give you guys some tips to hopefully be successful on your next fishing trip. Like always, guys, if you guys like this content, please like, subscribe, um, leave a comment. If there's you know, anything you to want me to discuss or want me to go over, just leave me a comment. in the comment section, whether it's on YouTube or Facebook or wherever you see this. I would love to take your suggestions and make my audience happy. Definitely follow us on all social media at thebasscast.com and follow us on all of our streaming services, YouTube, Apple Music, or Apple Podcast. I believe it's Spreaker as well, where you're gonna find this. But guys, for this episode, um, that's gonna be a wrap. I hope you guys enjoyed this content, and we will catch you guys next week on Before the First Cast. Thanks. Have a great day. Bye, guys.